Hey everyone, it's Monday and welcome to Major Hype, a show that I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday where I talk about entrepreneurship, money, and real estate. Today is no different, so let's get started. If you're old enough or you were an adult during the Great Recession of 2008, you probably remember tougher times. Americans lost their jobs. They had to make tough decisions on how to make ends meet on their own. After this time in American history, we had to look within to generate more income and essentially create our own employment. I was just scrolling on TikTok and I came across Gary Vee. Now, I've had the great privilege of being on stage with Gary Vee. Matter of fact, he spoke at my event and this is what he had to say.
If you look at influencer marketing, there are millions making $100,000 a year.
So many of these markets are winner-take-all markets.
On the platform side.
What do you mean?
Google, Facebook, TikTok.
I'm talking about on the individual side.
No, on the individual side, the long tail of creators is extremely long. It's winner take all if you define success $1 million. If you define success $80,000, it's astonishing. And I keep telling a lot of my corporate friends and leaders, you're worried about the great resignation? Wait till you see the great never applying in the first place. You've got an entire generation of kids growing up on Roblox, TikTok, Fortnite, who are like, I could work at IBM or VaynerMedia or whatever, or I can make 61K doing X, Y, and Z. I'll keep building, maybe I get to 200K, and it is a blind spot to the establishment at scale. And so what we talk about is these kids are entitled. They're not entitled, they're aware of their options.
Fast forward to today, many of us have kept the same energy as 2008. And as of June, 16.8 million people are classified self-employed. Now, if you listen to that video with Gary Vee and you happen to own like a large business, and it's defined of having over 500 employees, you're in for a rude awakening. Because what he's saying right now, and what we're in is the middle of a mass resignation. I mean, I have known several people to leave their jobs to obtain freedom, even if it means that they're making less money on their own. You see, the generation behind me cares even less about employee benefits such as healthcare and the coveted 14 days of freedom. Could you imagine working in HR and having to sit down with a Gen Zer and one of your top benefits is 2 weeks of freedom for your entire year of working? Most of them would simply just laugh and go home and blast you on TikTok. Now, what's going to happen in the near future is less people are going to be applying for many of the current openings, like all the openings around the country, only until there's a drastic increase in compensation and creative benefits for the job. We won't see those positions go filled. Now think about this. If you are working in HR, you're gonna need to say something like a month off, a month of vacation, and then maybe 2 months of virtual working or remote working. Maybe that's where the world is going to. You see, we're in the 21st century, and you need to design benefits that truly fit the needs of modern day Americans. Until then, it's gonna be a rocky road for these hire managers all across the country. Elon may be on the hook for cash, $1 billion. Yep, Elon is trying to get out of the Twitter purchase. After announcing he wants out of the deal by Twitter, Elon spent the weekend in Idaho at the Sun Valley Conference. Now, this is where a bunch of billionaires get together. And so he was probably there raising money for some of the potential lawsuits he's facing over the next few weeks or months, or this is gonna take a long time, so probably years. But if you remember, when this announcement came out about the deal, on April 15th, at 8:11 a.m. exactly, I said, if you know business, you know Elon is BSing about buying Twitter. He just wants to keep his name and Tesla buzzing. But he did just clip the wings. Now, Twitter is saying, nope, hold on. We're going to make you finish this $44 billion deal, whether you like it or not. Now, their stock when this announcement came was around $45 a share, and they're now somewhere around $35 a share. So on Friday, Elon Musk terminated the deal, saying Twitter had failed to provide information about the fake accounts on the platform. Now, come on, Elon. Remember you said this was all about freedom of speech? Now, after seeing that, the Twitter chairman tweeted he is going to go for a legal fight, meaning that he's representing everybody. And Brett Taylor said, you know what? I vow a legal fight. You can look at this tweet right here and see what I mean. After which Twitter turned around and hired one of the most aggressive law firms in the US, Wachtell. This isn't looking too bright on his end. Now, you might want to look ahead to Mars or one of those because the $44 billion is going to hurt no matter how much money you have. So Elon may be traveling to Mars to get away from this. Remember when we discussed New York City hitting the whopping $4,200 average for 700 square feet? Absolutely ridiculous. If you think rents are coming down anytime soon in New York, you may be wrong. This New York City real estate investment broker had an interesting TikTok outlining the border issue that runs rampant in the city.
Okay, so I'm essentially a retired real estate broker. I still work in real estate, but not as a real estate broker. However, I have one building every year that I lease. because it's kind of fun. However, this New York City rental market is ridiculous. Let me learn you something on why the prices are so high. And this is political, just so you know. I personally live in a 10-unit walk-up building in the East Village, and 4 of those apartments are vacant and have been vacant for over 5 years. Let's count them. Vacant. 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 All right, why is that? So essentially, a law was passed in 2017 for affordable rent, which I'm all for. Seriously, we all need a place to live. And essentially, so when someone moves out of a rent-stabilized unit, you cannot increase the price anymore. So in my building, there's an 85-year-old guy, he dies, the landlord can't increase the rent, doesn't renovate the apartment, and they're betting the law is gonna change back. So it just sits vacant, taking an apartment away from a New Yorker. And just in the East Village, I know for a fact, there's over 4,000 vacant apartments. What's your take?
New York City Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act of 2019 was created to strengthen rent control, regulate what happens when apartment prices when renters vacate, and ensure that tenants can stay in their units for longer. The law repealed a former rule allowing landlords of rent-regulated units to automatically raise rents 20% when the unit becomes vacant. Limiting the renovations costs landlords could recoup by actually renting out and increasing the rents. That's crazy. Today, this means when a rent-stabilized unit becomes vacant, a landlord is less incentivized to actually replace the tenant. Landlords realize rent-stabilized units can be listed on the market rate after they actually invest in upgrades. So many of them are refraining to listing them at all, and they're waiting for the New York City housing laws to actually change. New York City estimates that out of more than 1 million rent-stabilized apartments in the city, 20,000 units remain vacant at a cost prevented landlords from listing them. So landlords are just simply not listing these units because they can't increase the rent if they go do these renovations. So without additional inventory, the Big Apple housing shortage is likely to worsen, and that means rental prices will continue to climb. But how actually stable is this? Could there be a possible solution to this? Something that I absolutely hate is more taxes, but considering implement a vacant tax rule forbidding landlords to claim tax incentive on properties that are sitting vacant might be the only option remaining for the people of New York. Have you ever heard of the Great Appreciation? Everyone has been speaking about the recession, but could it be that we're really coming off the Great Appreciation? Now, I know, you're probably saying, what are you talking about? So stick with me for a minute. See, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage in January 2021 was about 2.7. But in January of 1990, it was 9.9%. That's almost 10. Now, the mortgage rates went from 9.9 to 2.7. The amount you can borrow with a $1,400 monthly payment increased from $161,000 to $343,000. That's a staggering $182,000 difference. Now, from January of 1990 to January of 2021, the average real estate property value went up around $165,000. Now, clearly there's a correlation between the mortgage rates and the cost of a home. Now, going back to the Great Appreciation, if you feel that you're witnessing something extreme, you might be feeling the effects of one of the best high points in the U.S. real estate market has seen in the last 50 years. Instead of a Great Depression, we're simply seeing a return to what's being considered normalcy in the past. So let's think about this. What if home appreciation stays stagnant for a while, like things don't move? Housing prices will still go up with inflation for a conservative 2 to 3% annually for the foreseeable future. But let's think about what kind of impact this could actually have. With home appreciation slowing down, this could actually increase the rate of home ownership. Due to having less equity in properties, the foreclosure rate will increase since there will be less house appreciation to help out the recent homeowners hit with unexpected financial burdens. Millennials and Gen Zers having less appreciation in homes means that mastering other methods of long-term investment strategies will become crucial to be able to sustain them during actual retirement. So basically saying, listen, if you are a new homeowner or you're a Gen Z or a millennial, and you're not going to get the appreciation over the last 30 years like our parents did or our grandparents did, then you're going to have to really start digging into other types of investment strategies that's going to help you sustain yourself during retirement years, whether that's a solo 401k or a checkbook IRA or something else, because you're not going to be able to depend on Social Security and the appreciation in your home to carry you through retirement. Now, conditions for home buyers are looking a little bit better this week. As home prices still remain expensive, mortgage rates just posted their biggest weekly drop since 2008, which means that buying a home is a little bit more affordable. Last week, a 30-year mortgage rates fell to 5.3%. That's the largest one-week drop since 2008. This was down from the high of 5.8 earlier this year. If you're looking to buy a primary residence or a second property or an investment property, now is the perfect time to ask for concessions such as repairs, paying down the mortgage rate, or covering closing costs. Now, I still believe home prices aren't going to dip much, but with more options on the market, buyers have the ability to find homes that fit within their monthly budget, as many sellers are just adjusting their prices accordingly to avoiding the long wait time in the market. Because I remember, you used to list the house and in 2 weeks you would have a full-time offer, full price offer. But now people are waiting back to the 60, 90 days, 30 days that we typically had, and sellers are freaking out. The once very hot housing market in the United States has been experiencing a serious cooling off in the recent months. There's many different signs of this cooling, but one of the more interesting factors is the growth of available inventory year over year from 2021 to 2022. So I went ahead and got a list of the top 5 cities where the housing market literally just has more inventory than it had last year. Now, some of these places are quite interesting, and there's some noticeable patterns with multiple Illinois cities, California cities, and Colorado cities ranking among the top 5 cities. First up is Joliet, Illinois. In May of 2021, there was an available inventory of 163 homes for sale in Joliet, down from 314 homes in 2020. This year, however, the available inventory in Joliet is up a massive 188%. Second, we have Roseville, California. I have no idea where that is, but this is a large suburb of Sacramento, has experienced a growth in available inventory from 2021 to 2022, and the biggest increase of inventory of all the California markets. Elk Grove is another Sacramento suburb to make our list. From a for sale inventory of only 81 homes in 2021, Elk Grove housing inventory grew by 112% over the last year, reaching 172 available homes in May of 2022. The fourth is Aurora, Illinois. Aurora has been seeing the housing inventory double in just 1 year, from 214 available homes in May of 2021 up to 428 homes in May of 2022. And last up is Lancaster, California, sitting at number 5. The Lancaster housing market has seen an available inventory double over the last year, from 202 homes for sale in May of 2021 up 95% to 394 homes in May of 2022. So as investors, you definitely want to check out these zip codes for potential sales and price drops across the board. All right, so I've been following this story for a while and I now have an update. So the Los Angeles just returned a $20 million beachfront property to a black family, almost 100 years after the county seized it. In the 1910s and the 1920s, black families in the Los Angeles County frequently flocked to the Bruce Beach. It's a chunk of beachfront on Manhattan Beach, owned by a black couple named Willa and Charles Bruce. The Bruces lost the land in 1924 when the county took it over. Now, Willa and Charles turned this land into a resort they dreamed of. They were renting bathing suits and towels and even providing snacks to their guests, but the white neighbors were angry about the beach from the beginning. A Los Angeles Times article from 1912 noted the establishment of small summer resorts for Negroes at the North Manhattan was created a great agitation among the white property owners for their adjoining land. Even though the Bruce had endured harassments from the neighbors, police, and even the KKK, the fatal blow came to the resort in 1924 when the Manhattan Beach Board of Trustees moved forward with acquisition by condemnation for a public park purposes. In other words, they voted to take the Bruce's land with the stated goal of making it into a public park. Now, the Bruces asked for $70,000 for the property and $50,000 in damages. In turn, they were offered $14,500, and the county took the land, which sat unused until the 1950s. Now, 100 years later, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors decided to right the wrong. They voted unanimously to give the land valued over $20 million back to the Bruce's descendants. For now, the Bruce's family descendants will lease the land worth $20 million to the county for $413,000 a year. Seems pretty low, but whatever. But they may sell the property in the future. This is a sign of correcting the injustices of our past and hopefully a sign of good. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode of Major Hype, please do me a favor, smash the like button. And if you're not subscribed, do it for me and do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, turn the bell notification on so you can see all the videos we're dropping. And listen, leave a comment below on what topics you want me to cover, because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm gonna see you guys right here on YouTube. My name is Maxwell, and I'm out. I'll see you on Wednesday.